Okay, so this is going to be the third driver interface meeting. Um, some stuff that I was able to get done is I was able to obtain some information on how the CAN protocol works, actually from a professor who's advising my senior design project. It seems pretty beneficial. I haven't got a chance to go over it because the week is pretty crazy right now. I have a lot of stuff going on with my other classes as well. Um, me and Fuga were talking about prior to the official start of this meeting, we are more concerned with midterms, midterm week, because it's midterm week. Either now is midterm week or next week is midterm week. It's a little bit cloudy. It's not really exactly clear. They don't have like a set date for midterms, but we do know that they're happening right now. Since you're the only other person here, Wuvin, do you mind telling me what your midterm schedule looks like, just so I can get an idea of whether or not we're going to have a meeting next week, or?
I think next week I am. Yeah, next week I'm in the clear.
You're in the clear for next week?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I might be too, honestly. I think my next... Actually, I think I have a midterm on the 4th. I might actually cancel the meeting just because I have a midterm. Not gonna
Sounds
lie.
good.
uh, anyway. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and cancel next meeting if for no other reason than the fact that the Leeds meeting is canceled next week. And the only thing that I really plan on doing for Solar Car at this moment is after our meeting today. I want to have a more definitive case for whether or not we should obtain QT, because the project managers want feedback on that as soon as possible. They were like, as soon as that meeting is over, they want an email from me saying for sure, are you going to make your own GUI in Python or not? I also have a message from Vi. She was able to install a virtual machine with Ubuntu on it, and she was able to produce a Hello World program on C++. Unfortunately, she's not able to make it today, but she is progressing with her tasks. So that's me. That's Vivian. Fuga was telling me earlier before the meeting started that he was able to order an Arduino, but it has not gotten here because he has been busy with testing, which is perfectly acceptable. Wuvin, could you remind me what your task was?
Yeah, mine was working on the SolidWorks, like the physical interface.
Right. And where are we with that?
I've only got it working recently because it's been taking a while to communicate back and forth between Riverside, but I have SolidWorks working. But
Awesome.
yeah, I tried messing around with it. I didn't look too into it because midterms and everything,
That's totally
like
fine.
everyone else. Like the best I did was like a rectangle.
That's pretty good, honestly. It's progress is progress. And then it looks like we also have Isai here. Isai, you were working on the PSpice model for the panic button, the hazard button, and one other button. I don't seem to have it here with me.
Yeah, just the buttons that light up.
Okay. And how's that going?
Um, I wrote up a doc on it somewhere. I still need to like edit it a bit,
Okay.
but it worked out fine, all according to the LT Spice. It should work.
Oh, we're switching to LT-Spice now?
No, I was using LT Spice because P Spice doesn't work on my
Awesome.
laptop.
Okay. Hey, so I know that for electrical, I was in on the electrical meeting, and they are also LT-Spice elitists like myself. They're working with like PSpice stuff because of the teams previous to them, and I think PSpice is like the standard for UCR. But I'm starting to turn some people to LT-Spice. So what do you prefer? Like if you had the choice, if you wanted it to be ubiquitous across nature, PSpice or LT-Spice?
Um, I guess to me it doesn't really matter, but I prefer to use LT Spice just because that's the only thing that works for me.
Okay. So I know, then if that's the case, then I think I'm gonna make a really hard push for LT Spice being used more frequently in the other teams as well. I know I've personally had way more success with LT Spice than I ever have with P Spice. It's night and day. So I think you and I are in the same camp on that. And you said you were able to get the buttons working.
I just did a sort of like small test on LT Spice with a BJT and a resistor,
Okay.
right? Kind of to see if to see if we can use a signal from a microcontroller like a TNZ or something
Hmm.
to light up the button basically once it's pressed.
I think probably the only limiting factor there would be the clock signal from the microcontroller. So, what kind of microcontroller were you thinking about using? Were you thinking about using like an Arduino or AVR?
Like an Uno.
Like an Uno? Okay. Then
Yeah.
that frequency should be fine then. They're pretty complicated. Well, not complicated, but like they have there's a lot of bells and whistles on them, so you definitely be able to get a signal you'd want. Are you able to simulate an Arduino inside of LT Spice?
I don't think so. I didn't try. I was just kind of using a sort of a 5 volt power voltage source.
Okay.
But I mean, it should work out fine. Just as long as we get 5 volts from a Arduino.
Well, you're saying we wanted like a frequency, like a function generator to keep the lights on, yeah?
No, just any DC voltage.
Oh, okay. And then so that DC voltage has to be constant until you're turning it off. So you just have like state machines inside of a microcontroller allowing power through and not allowing power through. Do you want to maybe take a look at like some DC to DC conversion stuff? Because you can kind of control that. I think with a little less through that, I might be able. I might want to think about this for a minute before I start talking out of my back end. But I think it sounds like everybody's stuff is going pretty well. Nobody seems to have been like completely finished with any of their tasks, which is fine. Because again, we're having midterms and all that jazz, and then as far as tasks for next week, I'm thinking maybe. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say for sure we're not gonna have a meeting next week. And then in the meantime, focus on your midterms. If you have time in between, try and complete your tasks. There's one other task. Woo, and I think you actually had two tasks. I think you also wanted to do some research into Qt.
Right.
How was that going?
I don't. Was that my role? I don't remember. I don't remember the SolidWorks, so I haven't.
Gosh, maybe I gave it to someone else. I'm sorry. Fuga, do you have that list?
Yes, sir. I'll look at it right now.
Okay. I have to kind of go early
Oh, that's
for
fine.
today, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. So just keep working on it. We're not gonna meet next Wednesday. And I'll see you the Wednesday after that, and then we can talk again about progress on this. Let me know if you want any help or you want me to join you at any given point to kind of work on this stuff with you. I can make time for it if you like.
All right. Yeah, I'll let you know.
All right. Have a good day.
For Woven, all I have is getting familiar with SolidWorks.
Okay. Did anybody actually have Research Qt?
No, it doesn't look like it. The only thing I have for Qt is we just have it down as Qt open source, may have to pay.
Oh,
We just had a conversation, but I don't think it was ever really assigned to anyone.
that's too bad. Dang. Okay. Well, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that task on. I'm gonna do some research into Qt. We'll go ahead and make that a secondary task for me. Ivan?
Yeah, sorry, I was late.
Oh, you're good. Ivan, did you have a task that we gave you last week, or?
I don't think I was explicitly given a task, but I was just like doing research on Qt.
Oh, okay. So what do you got then?
For me, I was just reading like the documentation. You said we were going to implement like the bus system,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just reading like the plugin that they have there.
So,
And I just wanted to know, like, are we going to be using C++ or Python?
right now I'm not really sure. I think like each of them, like I know the microcontrollers are probably each gonna need something different. Most microcontrollers, I think, you can get away with C. For the user interface, that's probably gonna be Python unless we're using Qt, and then I'm not really sure how we would interface with Qt, if that would require C++, Python, or what have you. That was one of the things that I kind of wanted to know, but haven't gotten around to looking at. And then for Arduinos, if we're going to be programming Arduinos, I'm pretty sure that they have their own specific language. Don't quote me on that, but I think they do. So we might have to be multi-language disciplined here, which is pretty common in the workplace. Most people who work on this kind of stuff do have to bounce in and out of different languages. It might be more of a what task are you specifically working on, and that might call for like a particular programming language.
Okay.
Do you have a lot of experience with languages? I'm sorry if I don't if I already asked you this.
No. I mean, I have experience with C,
Okay.
but I wouldn't mind learning Python because it seems pretty useful.
It's once you have a language mastered, and I'm going to be honest, C is probably the one you want to master first. Mastering, just picking up and going with any other language is pretty easy. You just got to learn a couple of the rules and look up a couple of the syntax.
That's what I've heard
Yeah.
from literally everyone.
It's go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah, because at UCR they teach C++, and most things like I have a friend that at UCI, and he's going to be doing I'm doing the Qt hack with him, and he knows only Python. And just everyone that does Python says that C is like they don't understand how I learned C. It's ridiculous, which is kind of a good thing for me because that means when I do work with Python or anything, it won't be too bad.
Yeah, as someone who learned C first, Python is pretty easy comparably. But again, if you really understand the way code works, you really master one language, it becomes a lot easier to master another. So like, if you're worried about learning another completely new language, I would just focus on the language you have. We'll keep that as one of your skills, so you're really good with C, and then if it comes down to it, we'll have you transition to Python, last resort. But I can tell you,
I'm completely fine with learning Python.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
then
me too. It's actually something I've been planning on doing recently.
Yeah.
all right. Well, then you guys should absolutely learn Python. I know. Was Vi the only person I had get the virtual machine?
I think so.
Okay. I would recommend that everyone do it on their off time. If you need help getting it, I would contact her with directions on how to do that. Another thing that reminds me, another thing that I have to do is I have to set up a GitHub repository for all of this so that we can start working with information. I think I might actually wait on that until we actually have some stuff to code up. But for now, actually, Ivan, before I lose track of time, so would we need to pay for Qt in order to access the bus features?
I'm not 100% sure, but I was like reading about the licenses,
Okay.
and it seems it falls under like the I forgot it specifically. There are two license types, but the license is that as long as we make the code public, like we can use it.
Okay. So it's open source.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
then, I mean, I'm not like super sure on the specifics honestly because I've never used Qt, but that was just like what I could get from what I read.
Okay. I know if we do end up having to pay for it, we have a business section, which the project managers are saying, okay, we'll try and get something worked out. They also know a lot of people in the faculty department that might be able to help us out, get us some free software. Lots of companies like to work with schools for this type of thing. Like getting your name on a project is actually a pretty decent way to promote your company brand. So even if we do end up having to quote unquote pay for it, we might be able to get it for free anyways. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the website and I think for sure we're going to use Qt. I think we're at least going to start off using Qt, and then we might have to backtrack a little bit. I think it probably would be worth it. This is one of the main issues that actually got brought up to me by the electrical lead when I was talking to him about this, is that when it comes down to it, there's going to be someone sitting in the car, and we don't want our software kind of glitching and not working when you could have like a proven foundation that's not going to mess up and cause the car to crash and cause serious harm to someone. So I think at the end of the day, I think we should put most of our eggs into the Qt basket. And I think that's what I'm going to go forward with. So I think everyone should try and get like a cursory understanding of Qt. Not necessarily the ability to develop in Qt, but definitely check it out, because going forward, I think that's the way we're going to go.
Sounds good.
Okay. I think everyone here has something that they're doing right now, yes?
Yeah, I'm gonna be fooling around with the Arduino when it gets here.
Okay. And wait, Ivan, do we have something for you?
I don't believe so. I mean, I guess I'll just look into Qt. Like, I'll probably download it if I can.
Okay. Alright, so Ivan's gonna download Qt and start messing around with that interface. Woven, you're still messing around with SolidWorks, trying to get good at that.
Yep.
Okay. I think everyone has a task.
Just a heads up, Ivan. Qt is a pretty big program. It takes up I think it took 200 gigs.
Oh my
200?
god.
200.
Or something like that. I might be exaggerating, but it completely destroyed my laptop's hard drive, so I had to uninstall it on the laptop.
Does it allow you to
Aye.
choose like what you install, or
200 is crazy.
because that's like insane?
I think I have to buy a hard drive then.
Yeah, probably.
I think it's just because I don't know what, I just checked whatever, and then I think it just installed everything. I think you can manually choose what you want and don't need, so just a heads up warning.
Alright,
Yeah. Thank you.
so knowing that, I think let's hold off on downloading Qt right away, because I really don't want to brick someone's computer that way. I'm going to look into this personally, and then figure out what the best way to go about this is, and then I will meet back with you guys in 2 weeks, and we're going to figure out if we even need Qt on everyone's computers, because if it's 200 gigs to download, I think we could probably sacrifice everyone having a copy of it on their computers and just keep it on one dedicated computer.
Sounds good.
If it's 200, how are we going to get that on Raspberry Pi? Do they make micro SD cards that are 200 plus gigs? That's a thing, right?
Yeah,
They have 512 gigs, something like that. They probably have
I think they're up-
terabytes.
yeah. I think they're up
they
a
for
terabyte now.
Yeah.
I work at Target, so I know for sure they have 256. I haven't seen a bigger one in Target, but I'm sure they have them.
Okay. I wonder if the program itself has to run on the computer, or if the program itself is used to make smaller version apps that are configured to the needs of the individual computer.
Oh,
Because
you can I don't know what the correct word is, but quote unquote export the program, I guess.
Okay. So I think that's
You don't
probably
need
it.
Qt explicitly for it to run.
Okay, so then the goal is now we're going to be working on an exported customized app for Qt that's going to go on our Raspberry Pis, or our Raspberry Pi display. and so
Sounds good.
we need to work on that. We need to design that app. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look into how we will go about developing that. I probably will contact the founder of UCR because he literally says in the chat right here that one of his first jobs was developing Qt-based applications. So we definitely have a good
Nice.
resource with him.
Perfect.
Yep. Other than that, I think this was. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or anything interesting that they'd like to add to the discussion? Because I think we've covered pretty much everything.
Is it possible, or will it happen if like I ask one of the people in like, well, I don't know, what are the other sub teams?
Absolutely. Whatever it is you need to ask them, as long as it's an appropriate and solar car related question, 100%.
Yeah, like
Uh,
some like the mechanical team. I want to ask if they have like workshops for SolidWorks or something, so I could actually understand how to use it.
Yes, and continuing on that line of thought, I guess she's not here, but someone was asking for a workshop on embedded systems, specifically programming microcontrollers and then like applying them to like transducers and whatnot. And that workshop is in the works. It's gonna happen in the next couple of weeks, and it's going to be run by the electrical interface. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely hit up either David Wilson or let me see, it's Sonny. His first name is Sonny. I don't know his last name, but either one of the electrical leads, they are setting up an embedded systems workshop that I definitely recommend anyone attend because we will be doing a bit of embedded systems in this team.
Sounds good.
Is that only open to people part of the solar car? Because I have a couple of friends in CS, and I feel like that'd be pretty beneficial to them.
That's a good question. I would ask them. I'm not
Okay.
sure if they're willing to hold that workshop for people outside of Solar Car, but
Yeah.
I know one of them personally. He's usually pretty amicable to stuff. So I would message David Wilson here on Discord and see
Okay.
if ask him about any questions you have about that workshop. I would go ahead and refer to him because he's kind of heading that right now. I think the answer will probably be yes, but for just to be polite, you should definitely ask first.
Okay, and are we still? I meant to ask this last time too. Are we still accepting like more members for the team?
Absolutely. You
Okay.
can join driver interface whenever you feel like it. You can dip out for a little bit if you want. If you feel like you don't want to be a part of Solar Car anymore, there was no contract in the first place, and we wish you the best of luck. If you want to come back in like a month later, that's totally acceptable. The only thing I would say is in that situation, your tasks may be given to other people, and I would also just out of compassion for me and my job, if you could tell me first, that would also be great. If you're gonna stop coming, that way I know, okay, this guy's not gonna be here anymore. I gotta figure out who's gonna be doing his work. Those are the only two things I ask. But of course, I'm not gonna hunt you down if you don't. And anybody who's interested in joining Driver Interface, if they haven't been interested and you're trying to convince your friends, please do so. Any extra pair of arms that are working for us right now, great. Fantastic stuff. Absolutely. Please, if you can convince them to join Driver Interface, that would be great. They might also be interested in some other teams. There might be some teams that are suffering right now. I don't know if the business team is still struggling, because I know that they had very few people in them. Because
Okay.
if you have anybody who's like interested in being on the business side of things, they definitely need people. Oh, and Lean, there was another team that was like really hungry for teammates. I think it was Array. I think it was Solar Array. Let's see. Yep, Solar Array team. If anybody's interested in Solar Array team, and you want to be in both Driver Interface and Solar Array, I would definitely check out Solar Array. I would see if you could get to a Solar Array meeting, because our lead Lean, she's not seeing a lot of traffic in her meetings. And if you have any friends who are interested in the entire team, Solar Car in general, Solar Array really needs people right now. It would be a great opportunity to just shine and show your capabilities. I would highly recommend that. for any more information on Solar Array, I would talk to Lean.
Sounds good. Yeah, I talked to my friends about it a little bit, and they seem kind of interested, but like they don't know what to expect. So I think they're just kind of using me as like the tester, and then I'll come back, tell them, yeah, it's pretty cool, like learning some cool stuff, and then I'm sure they'll be here eventually.
It's a club. I think is like the official description of what we're doing here. So the amount of expertise you have is it's not there's no requirement for expertise, and there's no requirement for you to stick around indefinitely. You the way I would describe it is you get what you put into it. So the way this works is not that, oh, you've signed up and you have responsibilities, you take care of those responsibilities, and you can say to people that you're in this club. Realistically, what it is we're just a bunch of people, and the more you put into this, the more we'll recognize your name, and the more your association with the club will be solidified. That's essentially how it works. So you can come in, you can come in whenever, and as long as you're throwing stuff out there and you're talking in the meetings and you're contributing to the overall project, your people will recognize you as a member of this club. That's the way it works.
Sounds good.
And that's actually how all the clubs on UCR work. Like pretty much any club you want to join, like aerospace or it's one of the other ones. I can't think of too many off the top of my head. But basically they say, come to the first general meeting, and then whatever you're interested in, go to that, participate, and then when people start recognizing your name, that's when you're officially quote-unquote in the club. Alright, anyone else have any questions or anything they want to bring up before we bring this meeting to a close? I know it was a short meeting, but it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot to discuss here. Okay, well then in that case, I'm going to call this meeting to an end. Thank you so much for showing up. Please remember, we do not have a meeting next Wednesday. We're taking a break off so that people can focus on midterms. And then the Wednesday after that, which is, if you want to throw it on your calendar, the 11th of November, that is when we're going to meet again.
Sounds good.
Okay, guys. We'll see you later.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Later.